we like so many NFL futures, we just decided to do a draft. And if we take one from the other one, so be it. So whoever goes first, then you go second and third, I go fourth and fifth. So we get 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I think we should say we're putting like $50K fake dollars on each one of these or something.
Oh,
to
really?
Just see that, add the tally up at the end of the year. What do you
So
think?
let me ask you then. So could I just pick first and go no undefeated teams minus 3,500, or no? It has to be legit.
I thought about that. I think we should try to keep it like even odds or plus.
All right.
And if you want to have like 1 or 2 in the minus 150, minus 175 range, go big.
Right.
But we want to have
fun.
Let's go longer shots.
That's fine. It's good. It's fine. Yeah. All right. You want to go first?
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Let's let the California lottery determine it. We'll wait till night. We'll add up the balls. It's okay. You go first.
I'll go first. I'll go with my favorite future.
Yeah.
So we talked about this on the NFC Over Under podcast, and I challenged FanDuel. I was like, I think the NFC South's probably going to win like, I don't know, 24, 25 games max. Put some chest hair on FanDuel. Put this on your sportsbook app. Put it in Futures Fusion, the hottest nightclub in LA right now. Put it in there. Let's see it. So FanDuel, they put up NFC South under 30 wins. So 29 and under, you win. And it's plus 155. So if the NFC South has 30 combined wins, you lose that one. I talked about it in the NFC thing. I think the NFC South is going to be a dumpster fire. I would be shocked if anyone's even in the high 20s from this division.
What makes you think
combined.
that? Yeah. No, of course. That's a good one. I think you added it up and it was 31, right? Is the actual number for all the wins. So they're adjusting it. Yeah, this is a good one. All right.
I'm trying to figure out how it loses. And I think here's the case study. So Atlanta's schedule is so easy. If Atlanta just becomes like the super easy schedule, nobody believes in them. They're 12-5, but everybody can't wait to bet against them in the playoffs. I think that has to happen. I think Carolina has to be maybe a little better. That's the main one. Carolina
can't screw you. Everyone else will be around 7. Carolina can't be 7. That's it. They got to get out of it.
There's some like slight buzz with Carolina. I'm like, I don't know, maybe 11-1 to win the division. I don't see it at all. I think they're going to be awful. So anyway, plus 155. That's my bet. All right, you got the next two.
All right, I'll go. There's another one we discussed. I really, really love this, and it pays 6-1. Exact order of finish: Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota. Of course, you could switch that around. Go Chicago, Green Bay for second, third. I think he gets 7-1, but I really like what we settled on. Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings, because I haven't been this confident in a first place team and a fourth place team finish in a while. And I think we have the right one for second and third. 6-1.
So that's the NFC North exact order, 6-1, which has been on there for a month or so. And they have them for every division. They have every combination. That is by far my favorite one.
Okay.
Because the only way you probably lose it is if Green Bay somehow is better than Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Chicago, Minnesota 3-4 combo, I'm locking that in. I don't see any chance Chicago's better wins wise than Detroit or Green Bay. And you and I are both, we talked about it a few days ago. You and I are both super bullish on Detroit.
Let's just commit to those two bets, the NFC South under and what I just went over, and let's watch the rest of the year. Why do we have to go crazy on ourselves?
So I had that as my third most favorite future. So you took one from me, but the plus 600 is great. So if we're doing 50K per bet, and you hit that one, you'll have a lead. I will have hit my bet and still you'll be winning me. All right. What's your other one?
I'm going to go same division here. I have to decide between, I like both of these. And you could take one if I do the other. I like Caleb Williams to lead the league in interceptions. 14-1, but I also like him over 11.5 interceptions. All right. I'm going to go over 11.5 interceptions minus 112. That is asking a lot for a rookie quarterback to come in there and have fewer than 12 interceptions. But all three secondaries are pretty good. Even Minnesota's, there are some blue chippers in there. 12 interceptions is not a bad year. If he has like 27 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, that's not bad at all. And he's going to make some mistakes. And, if he it's less than one a game, give me Caleb over 11.5 INTs.
What is the juice on that?
Minus 112.
That's really good. I was looking at that most interceptions bet. It was shocking. Josh Allen was one of the favorites.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then I
he
looked it
turns
up last year, and he had 18 picks last year. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
He threw a ton of picks, but usually there's the bad QB who gets to play all the time. Like last year was Sam Howell. And I think he might he finished with the most or he was right there. The year before was Davis Mills. So I have one for this a little later that I was looking at. All right, so I have two in a row. I want to do one longer shot and one that I just really like, but both of them are based in the AFC South. They have a little DNA in the AFC South, the division that I think both of us are intrigued by this year. First one, Mahomes, CJ Stroud, and Trevor Lawrence, all to throw for 4,000 yards. Parlay plus 403. So I looked at this. Lawrence has thrown for 4,000 yards in 2 of the last 3 years, including last year when he had 100 injuries. Mahomes would have to get hurt to miss this. And Stroud, first 12 games last year, threw for 3,500 yards, missed a couple games, came back, still finished over 4,000. And now the receivers are better. And I mean, basically somebody would have to get hurt for them to miss this. And 4-1 is tasty. And I was looking at the history of 4,000-yard throwers, which is a little easier now that we have the extra game. But there's usually between like maybe 8 and 10 that do it each year. And I think these are going to be 3 of the 8. So plus 403. What do you think of that one?
I like that. You need 16 games out of them, right? If someone plays 15,
maybe even 15.
It's a little sketchy. 15, I guess you could do. That's 15 is 2,600. 260 a game. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I like that. All right.
Okay. And then my second one, we've talked about it a lot. I picked them to make the Super Bowl. They were one of my 7 AFC Super Bowl picks in our AFC over-under. Houston to win the AFC South, which the odds have dropped and is now dead even. It's plus 100 for them to win the AFC South. The only team I'm afraid of for this a little bit is Jacksonville. But I'm all in on this Houston team. I think CJ is going to be really good. And as I said the other day, I think if he's healthy and he has a good team, I just think he's 11 wins going forward. So the fact that this isn't minus yet, like this is plus 100, but Philly's minus 140 to win the NFC East, just seems like good value. So that's my other one.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I have Jaguars to win only because I think it's going to come down to the last week, and I'd rather have the
good
plus
odds
money. But yeah,
good odds.
All right, I get 2 here. So let me go comeback player of the year, Kirk Cousins. It was 5-1. You can get it at plus 430 now. I think I mentioned on the NFC pod he had 18 touchdowns. He led the league before he got injured. I think he's going to put up good numbers with that team, right? Dare I say, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I think they're going to be okay this year. And so right there, I think we discount. I'd rather not take the Saints or Falcons or anything else to win a division, but I think Cousins will put up good numbers. I don't think Rodgers will as much. And Burrow, I don't know. I don't want to count injuries against anybody, but I think Cousins 430 is a good one.
So I didn't have a comeback bet out of my 31 futures I have prepared for this draft. And the reason is I really like Cousins at plus 430. But I also was afraid of Rodgers, and Rodgers was, what was he like, plus 220, plus 230, something like that.
Wasn't worth it.
I didn't understand why they weren't the exact same odds. Because if either of them win the division, they're probably going to be the favorite to be comeback player of the year, right? So I don't know why Rodgers would be above Cousins. They had the same injury. They're playing for these teams that are in like that 9 to 10 win range with a chance to win the division. And I thought Cousins had the best odds. It didn't make the cut for me. I had a lot of ones I liked.
Yeah, because his team's expected to win the division, where the Bengals aren't and the Jets aren't either. So
there was some weird one in the comebacks. They really were throwing in everybody. You start getting 100 to 1. They're putting in, people you didn't even know were still in the
Grady
league.
Jarrett. What is Grady Jarrett? What kind of stats does Grady Jarrett have to win CPOY?
Yeah, can you imagine like week 9? We're like, I don't know, man. Grady Jarrett, he looks like he almost has this locked up.
Damn,
why 30 sacks.
That? Tim Patrick, I think, is on a practice squad. He's 100 to 1. That's good stuff. I get one more. Oh, yeah, go.
It seems like Ricky Pearsall is going to be okay. I think he should probably be in there, right? The dude
you're right.
Fucking shot yesterday. So if he has like 40 catches, I think he would have to be one of the favorites.
That's interesting.
Scary.
We never talked about a rookie to win comeback player of the year. He can win both awards.
Unbelievable. The guy's just walking around downtown San Francisco. All right, what's your other one?
All right, for my second here coming around, I'm going Kenneth Walker, most rushing yards, NFC West. Now, this is dependent probably on McCaffrey getting injured, maybe missing a couple of games. Maybe they hold him out. Maybe they're going for the 1 seed, whatever it is. So I need McCaffrey to miss some games. I need Kieran Williams to be named the punt returner for the Rams, which seems like it already happened. Plus 360, Kenneth Walker, right around 1,000, 1,100 yards. I have him in way too many fantasy leagues, but I'm sticking with this. I think it's a good number.
Well, and then James Conner, maybe him not going crazy, but I think it's a really smart one because everyone's going nuts about him. He definitely is probably the most hyped higher end running back in any fantasy league. And then the McCaffrey, who knows? Calf, hamstrings. I like it. Plus 3. I'm surprised the odds are that high. I would have thought the odds would have been like in the plus 250 range. So those are good ones. All right. For my next two, I'm going to go Detroit for both. I'm trying to do themes with my combos. We talked about this a bunch on our 2-parter. Detroit for the 1 seed plus 480. I just think the value is, especially with San Francisco, with some year from hell potential with San Francisco, and then the NFC East. I'm not sure which one comes out of there. I don't like anyone in the NFC South. I just think the 1 seed's coming from the NFC North, whether it's Green Bay or Detroit. And we talked about Detroit with all the indoor games, Detroit loading up, Detroit getting a taste last year, but not getting the Super Bowl hangover. And I just think they're built to beat the shit out of teams this year, which ties into so that's plus 480. And that ties into my second one, which is Aiden Hutchinson for most sacks, 11-1, right? So you figure if Detroit's a juggernaut, which I think they're going to be, at least for the regular season, and you're having leads and the other team's throwing a lot and you're putting a lot of pressure on them and the crowd's loud. I like the way he looked last year. And what is most sacks? I think he had like 11 or 12 last year. Maybe get to 17 this year. Who's he competing against? Parsons, Watt,
Garrett,
one of the Bosa's, Garrett.
Yep.
But I think he probably needs to get to 17, 18. But on a team that's running it up, I could see it. I could see him having like a 5-sack game against some terrible team where they're just killing them. So 11-1 for Hutchinson. That was my other one.
He's got a little help this year. I like that. All right. I'll give you one. I think I gave this out when we did the AFC. Tyreek Hill, 13 or more receiving touchdowns, plus 360. I mentioned it. I don't understand this number. He's hit this 2 of the last 4 years. He has 13 and 15 touchdowns. He had like 119 catches the last 2 years. He had like 34 red zone targets last year, which is insane. He scores 5 touchdowns, 50 yards or more every season. So I like this right there as long as he stays healthy.
What's the juice on that one?
Plus 360 there. Plus 360 for 13 or more.
Do you like the odor from this Miami team? I'm going to use odor is going to be my go-to word this year. Do you like the odor from this team this year? I was reading up on that.
The
Miami
odor or the owner?
Game.
The owner's like Serena Williams and
odor, the smell, the vibe, the look. I mean, they're starting this week 1. They have a bunch of injuries and guys questionable already. And I don't know.
I know you're trying to bait. You've been baiting JJ on our text chain, but he has to defend his team like I do. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
If it's a year from hell team, Tyreek will be part of that, and it'll be like a pulled hammy or whatever. But the plus 360, I can't argue with the juice. What's your other one?
All right, I'm going to go another receiver here. CeeDee Lamb, homer call probably. Most receiving yards in the NFC East, plus 115. He beat A.J. Brown, who was second, by 300 yards last year. Like, it wasn't even close. And who are we looking at anyway after that? Neighbors for the Jet? No.
McLaurin?
McLaurin. Like, those guys aren't going to get to 1,500 yards. Plus 115 is better than picking like a division winner, I think, in the NFC East. So that's my second one.
So are they saying basically it's him versus the 2 Eagles guys and they feel like that's dead even? Because it feels like to me, Lamb should be like minus 150 for that.
Yeah, right. It will be after this podcast, but yeah, I would jump on that.
Well, go to Futures Fusion. Drinks are half price during happy hour. Okay, I'm doing 2 Pats for my next 2. You know where I stand on this Pats season. You try to talk me out of it. There's been some action on the Bengals Pats line, which we'll talk about when we do guess the lines, even though we already guessed them. First one, the Pats to be the last winless team is plus 500. And if you look at their schedule, and especially the fact that they're going to play Brissett this first 4 weeks, they're super unhappy with how the offensive line looks. And it just feels like they're going to start in that 0-6, 0-7 range. The other teams are Tennessee plus 750, who, I don't know, I could see them stealing a game in the first month. Carolina's plus 850. People think they could just beat New Orleans in week 1. Minnesota's plus 950, Giants 11-1, Broncos 13-1. So to get big action on Pats to be last winless, when naming Brissett was their admission, we're going to suck this year. We don't even want to risk our rookie quarterback, even though Gerard Mayo's like, yeah, May outplayed Brissett. And then 2 days later, it's like, our starting quarterback is Jacoby Brissett. So this is a team that doesn't seem like it wants to win. Plus 500.
All right. I mean, this is the theme, right? I have to defend my team to the end, and you have to say that yours is going to be terrible. That's just get ready for it, people. This is what our year is going to look like.
So, well, we are terrible. It's not like I'm going to have to go out on a limb. It's going to be a bad team.
The only thing I'll say is I think we looked it over in the NFC. So the Giants play the Vikings this week, and it's a murderous schedule for Minnesota if they lose this. Not great for the Giants either. And I think you can get 950 and 11-1 for both of those two. But I mean, Patriots will be right in there.
Yeah, Minnesota was another one I was looking at because it already seems like, things are moving against them. They've had some injuries. They have, I don't know what happens with Addison. Like Goodell just decides after week 2, he's now on that you cannot play anymore list. But they go Giants, San Fran, Houston, at Green Bay, Jets, by Detroit, and then at Rams week 8. I was looking at them too, but
it's insanity. Yeah.
But we'll talk about them and the Giants. But it does feel like whoever wins that game, the loser is probably the Pats competition for that bet. What's your other one?
Mm-hmm. It's my turn. All right.
Did you do 2 in a row?
Yeah.
You did 2 in a row. Yeah, it's my turn. All right, sticking with the Pats for this second one. Pats under 4.5. And then Seattle over 8.5 wins. I really like this Seattle team. And I think they might be coming up later with a couple more bets for me, but I like everything I'm reading, everything I'm hearing. I like their roster. I like that they actually have a home field advantage, or on paper, they at least do. I like the first game, week 1, starting out. They're going to be favored. They should take care of business. And I just think they're a 9 or a 10 win team. So that plus Pats under 4.5 is 3-1 plus 300.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of betting Seattle, I would just rather throw the Pats in there because the Pats aren't going 5-12. So that's my second one.
Not bad. Is this on the Futures Fusion or the Guess the Lines with Bill and Sal section of FanDuel?
It's on one. It might even be both. Both bars are open. Yeah.
Our kids are going to get kicked out of Futures Fusion for showing fake ID, aren't they? Our college kids.
Zoe just got a fake ID to get into Futures Fusion, I think, is what's happening.
It's not going to work. So it doesn't work.
All right, we're going to continue the futures draft. I think it's going pretty well. You got 2 in a row. Let's go. Yeah, you haven't lost any money. We're just throwing fake money around left and right. What do you got next?
I can't believe you don't like this or haven't picked this, and because you're anti-Patriots and pro-Lions. Guess the Lines with Bill Sal, our very own section, has Lions' best record, Patriots' worst record, 36-1. I'm going for it, taking a stab here, and at $50,000, I think that pays, I don't know, 36 billion, somewhere in there.
I had it later. I like those other 2, and I already did the Lions for something, but yeah, I got to be honest. I don't know why that's so high. 36-1, where it's like, on the one hand, the Lions team, that I think the Chiefs is the only real competition for that 1 seed, if you really believe in the Lions, and then the Pats, who I think they're one of the 3 worst teams. No question. I thought that would be like 12-1. So great odds.
Well, there's about 3 teams in contention on both sides. And I'm also sticking with the Guess the Lines with Bill Sal section. At least 3 of Falcons, Texans, Chiefs, and Jets to make the playoffs. This is a heavy vig. I'm not doing anyone any favors at minus 160, but you could get all 4. There's a way to get all 4 for sure. Falcons, Texans, Chiefs, and Jets. 3 of them are favored to win their divisions.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think, what is the juice on that?
Minus 160. So I apologize.
No, I like that. Yeah, so KC locked them in. Atlanta is a little dangerous, and then they're basically banking that maybe Houston and Jacksonville don't make it. So yeah, that's fair odds.
I mean, it's to make
like
the playoffs. It's not even to win the division. So Atlanta, I don't think, I like your thing where they all go under, but could they get a wild card? I guess,
Well, I should add that I have all 4 of those teams to make the playoffs. And in fact, my next pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this is an adjusted alt win total because their alt total is 8.5, which you and I both went over. We had a lot of acrimony in our AFC over-unders, but then we bonded over the Jaguars. We both like them a lot. They're over 9.5 wins. And again, credit to Raheem because he's been all over the alt win from the get-go. Like if you like somebody, you're better off really liking them and getting better juice. So Jags over 9.5 wins is plus 176. And I got to go 10-7, and I hit that. And I think they can go 10-7, and I actually think they will unless somebody gets injured. So
good.
I love that one. Staying in the AFC South, Stroud most passing yards plus 700. And I think his competition's probably Dak, right? Dak, if he plays all 17, and they're going to throw the ball a lot, especially with no running backs, I think would be the other one to look at. But I think Stroud's going to wing the ball around, and they got Mixon and Pierce and Akers are running back. Like it's not like they're going to be rushing for 3,000 yards. I think they're going to want to throw the ball and move it, make big plays, and strike big. And
don't have to worry about weather. He's probably just going to get better. I like that.
Yeah, and 7-1. I like the odds. All right, you're up.
All right. I'm going to go in under quarterback. Sam Darnold under 34.75.5. So he's got to start these games now for the Vikings with McCarthy out. It's minus 112. I think he could get yanked. They could do something weird in there, right? You see the Vikings, what they do last year. Who they have in there? We loved him for a month, and then like he was
Josh Dobbs.
Dobbs.
Jaron Hall got a cup of coffee in there, and there's somebody else terrible, and Kirk Cousins.
There's a Josh Dobbs. There's a Jaron Hall in there. There's plenty of those. I don't know if he makes it to the finish line. He might not get to 3,500 even if he plays all 17 games. So Sam Darnold under 34.75.5. He'll maybe have a couple of good weeks to start and get everyone excited, but that'll be that.
I really like that one. That's a great one. Congratulations. Yeah. Great value here.
Well, just look at those unders for, you don't have to go brag about it when these guys get injured or whatever, but a lot of good unders for guys who might get yanked or injured in that quarterback spot. I love this one. FanDuel has assistant coach of the year. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for Lions. We love the Lions. This guy's coming second or third in this voting for the last 2 years. You can get him at 9-1. If you think the Lions are going to be explosive as I do, and I think you do, it's got to be his year at some point. He gets votes. He got like 65 votes last year. So
is this voting. Is this bet in a speakeasy in the Futures Fusion basement? Where I didn't even know where to find this. What is it under?
It's under awards. Check it out. Yeah, it's right there on the awards.
God.
Yeah, I screen grabbed it for the Patriots. What was that? Van Pelt or something? He was like 250 to 1.
When you sent that to me, I thought you were kidding. I didn't realize that was an actual award that people could bet on.
Here. Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, so those are my two.
What? I probably have the wrong state downloaded. So Ben Johnson's 9-1. Who's his competition then?
9-1.
Some awesome defensive coordinator.
The problem is it's been defensive coordinators the last few years, so he's got to get over that for sure. But I got to figure. I don't have it up here, but let's see. Real quick. I
really like that one. Great job,
Bobby Slowick for the Texans is 9-1, and
the
Drew
OC
Petzing
for them. Yeah.
Drew Petzing for the Cardinals. No, got a guy named Drew Petzing is going to win. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Great stuff. Okay. My next two, both overs. Fun to have the overs. I don't want to get too negative as they dive into the season. Like having some teams to root for. We talked about both of these teams when we did our pod. The Chargers over 8.5. I'm all in on Harbaugh. And it's going to come down that week one. They're playing the Raiders, and you like the Raiders. And I like the Chargers. And I think if they can win that one, they're off. And then Green Bay over 8.5. So their over is 9.5, but this is an over 8.5. So both teams to win 9 games. Chargers, Packers, 3-1, plus 300.
put that together.
Sounds great because I'm not worried about the Packers. For the Packers to lose that, they'd have to have a losing record. They have way too much talent to have a losing record. So basically, you're betting on the Chargers over anyway, but you get to throw the Packers in there at a nice price. That's one.
Well, they don't even need to make the playoffs, right?
Right.
You can go 9-8 and you're good. All right, I like that.
I'm going against the NFC South again. I'm planting my flag in the NFC South sucks island. NFC East, more wins than the NFC South, minus 175. I think this is my only minus future. They have a bunch of, they put that in Futures Fusion.
Oh,
you just got to ask. It's where the tequila is.
What a bounty this is top shelf. This must be top shelf Futures Fusion.
Yeah. So I was going through it, and let's say the Giants and the Panthers, let's just cancel them out. Let's say they win the exact same amount of games.
That's fair.
I think Washington is better than anyone who doesn't win the division in the NFC South.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have the Eagles and Cowboys against the top two in the NFC South. And I'm winning with those. I'm getting 20 plus wins out of the Eagles Cowboys. I'm not getting 20 plus wins out of any two NFC South teams. So minus 175.
175. So the NFC East over-unders are probably 20.
Yeah, they're probably
33 or so, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good value.
All right. Somewhere in there. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Is that your second pick or first?
Yeah,
I'm up.
That's my second.
Listen, the Rams, I don't know how they do it, but Sean McVay I don't know if he gets lucky or that it's a great GM, but there's always somebody, whether it's a third round pick or first round pick jumps out. Kieran Williams in his second year. We saw Cooper Kupp as a third round pick and just these guys. And of course, Puka Nacua set the record. Jared Verse is the guy this year, the defensive end for Florida State. He's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year at 10-1. And everyone's going to be like the next Aaron Donald and everything, even though they don't really play the same position. 10-1 for Jared Verse.
I like it.
Rams.
So who could beat him then? I have one. I have a different Rookie of the Year pick. So I know. Right, I have a zag on that one, but I like the odds on that.
We could save for that. And I'll just go because you're going Chargers at exactly the same amount. I'm going Raiders over 8.5, except I get a plus 240. Minshew, O'Connell, I think they'll figure it out. I know you hate this one, but I have to take a shot on one of them. Raiders over 8.5 plus 240.
So that's an adjusted.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Raheem.
I don't understand the Raiders case at all. I don't get it. And I heard Raheem on East Coast Bias shitting on the Steelers as having a good defense, but he doesn't understand their offensive line and how they're going to score points. And this is the year Mike Tomlin doesn't have it. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, the Raiders, I know they're going to struggle on offense, but I like their defense. And I'm like, the Raiders are the discount Steelers. There's no way. How can you can't make the case for one and not the other. So I don't know.
I agree.
I got mad at Raheem as I'm walking along LA. I'm like, God damn it, Raheem.
Don't get mad at Raheem. But if you have to pick 3 teams to replace last year's playoff teams, you're going to have like a 6.5 win projected in there, right? Somewhere. So
it's hard.
That's where I'm going. Okay. You get
on that note, I think there's going to be 3 NFC West playoff teams. And you can bet on that on FanDuel Sportsbook. And it's plus 550. And I would assume it's going to be San Francisco, Seattle, and the Rams. I'm not going to completely rule out the Cardinals, especially with that week 1 in Buffalo. Looks a little upset-ish. But I just don't like the NFC. And, if you got Green Bay and Detroit, and you got one NFC South team, that's it. That's only 3 teams.
Yeah.
And then if it's Dallas versus Philly for one spot in the NFC East, and then I got my 3 NFC West teams, that's my path. So plus 550, I like the odds.
I don't mind that. And I feel like you could hedge that week 17. You could probably week 18. You can get one game probably.
I can't wait to unsuccessfully hedge it where I have 3 options and I'll somehow pick the wrong one. Then the other one, I don't understand the odds, especially when we're all in all these fantasy drafts. And he's been the first running back taken in all of them. And yet Breece Hall to win the rushing title is plus 950. And I don't understand why the odds aren't better. Because if you told me pick somebody to win the rushing title, just with no odds, just who do you think is going to win the rushing title? I would pick Breece Hall. Yeah. So plus 950 sounds fantastic. Sign me up.
Not bad. Talk about a category where only like 3 guys can win. If you've done any drafts this year, you know that's that's the case. 3 might be too many, but yeah, I like plus 950.
Why do you think it's that high?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think they're laughing at us. Like, you try to figure out which running back's good. And then we're going to have some guy you've never even heard of, like a Jalen Wright or something.
So the odds are McCaffrey plus 650, Bijan 7-1, who, by the way, has Algier on his team, who's going to still get a lot of carries. Taylor 8-1, Brees 9-1, Barkley 10-1, Derrick Henry 11-1. I feel like that's like my.
I guess because
McCaffrey's
like the bell cow, right? So it's just tough to overcome that. But yeah,
Just
once he's
limping
out of the way.
All right, you're up for 2.
Listen, let me just go with Jaden Daniels. I think I said it on the NFC podcast. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Take all his overs. I gave you Stroud last year for O'Roy. It's going to be Jaden Daniels. He's going to be dynamite. Lots of fun to watch. And by
you didn't give
6,
the odds. The odds are incredible.
6-1. Oh, they're 6-1, right? Still,
yeah.
Yeah.
So Caleb is like plus 130 range.
Right.
And Daniels is 6-1. And I don't understand. They're both going to have the ball a ton. They're both going to run around. Daniels has higher scramble potential.
Yeah.
And both teams are going to score points. Washington has a bad defense, so they're going to be getting the ball back. 6-1. It hasn't moved either. It hasn't moved for 3 weeks, and I don't really fully understand it.
He's going to be dynamite to watch.
I'm excited for him.
I just get that. And then I'll just throw this in there. No one's going to like this. Super Bowl winner and MVP, Detroit and Dak, 200-1. Put me down for 50 grand. Go ahead. Your turn.
You know, I saw all those bets and I have one coming later. That's 200-1, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, those are fun. So basically, they don't even have to correlate. Like Dak could win the MVP and it doesn't mess up the other one.
Chiefs and Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter. Yeah.
All right. We can start going fast. So I got Denver over 5.5 wins that I'm also going to put with New England under 4.5. And that's plus 270. There's been a lot of buzz on that Broncos line being like a win too low. And I think we're all staring at it. I just don't see Sean Payton going less than 7-10. Like he went 8-9 last year, and we watched all those games. I have no idea how that team went 8-9. There's going to be 4 games where he just outcoaches somebody. So over for that with the Pats. That's plus 270. And then we haven't mentioned him yet. Marvin Harrison, the rookie receiving yard title, which I guess he's competing against Neighbors and Michael Thomas and Adunze, plus 150. Why is that a plus in front of that? Like Marvin Harrison's winning the rookie yards title if he doesn't get hurt. So plus 150, sign me up. Sounds great.
Everybody loves that. I took Keon Coleman at much higher odds because these Bills receivers are going down. And if Josh Allen's going to have the year that I think he's going to have, he's got to get it to someone. So, but yeah, that's probably the smart one.
Okay.
Sure.
What do you got?
All right. Let me see what's left here. Okay. I'll go.
Am I going to have more futures left than you?
No.
This is like tapping out. It's like we're at Fogo de Chao. I'm trying to get you to tap out.
I just have a lot of the same stuff. Ravens to score a touchdown every game. I gave it out on our AFC pod.
That's fine. You can redo those.
It's happened once in 93 games where they didn't score a touchdown. 93 games. You have to go back to 2017. December 22 against the Browns. It's such a fluky thing, so much talent. Maybe there's bad luck in a rainy December game, but put me up for that one. And
what are the odds on that one?
I'm sorry,
I'm going to give the odds.
I go minus 115. So throw that in there.
That's nice action. Okay.
And this is
that's one of those where you're watching it and it's like week 11 and they're playing Cleveland and there's a fourth down and goal line stand.
Right.
There's a pick in the end zone. They're inside the 10 3 times. They don't score. They settle for field goals. And you're like, oh my God.
Right.
This is how I'm going to lose this?
I put a lot on it because I have a problem, but also because I want to be able to keep track of it. I don't want some loser on Twitter to remind me, oh, what happened to your Raiders not scoring? I'm like, fuck, oh shit, I forgot I had that. So I'm going to be fully invested in that.
Great one.
I think we have some, well, you don't like the Cowboys over. Cowboys over. This is a Bill Sal thing right there on FanDuel, over 9.5. Jaguars over 8.5 plus 230. That's the Bill Sal combo. So, all right. So you like the Cowboys. We're in. All right. 2 to you or 2 to Lou.
I feel like you're going to tap out soon. We should have called this the Fogo de Chao draft.
I'm still on green, buddy. Green.
What
disco.
was that time we went to Fogo with Brad? And
went a few
and
weeks
he
with
wouldn't turn well, one time I was with you. You've taken it a bunch of times. Our crazy friend Brad, where he wouldn't turn the card over, and then he just started moaning and he left. And he went to the bathroom and wasn't seen for 25 minutes, and it was a biohazard.
He sprinted to the bathroom. We went a few weeks ago. I had him at my house, and he said he went to the bathroom. And I was like, the kids have to, I sent one of the kids to check on him because that's what you got to do. And he said some guy was yelling at him in the bathroom. He's like, dude, what's going on? Are you all right? Because he was doing just that. He was moaning too much. Don't moan too much in the stall. You're going to draw attention to yourself. It's
don't moan in a public restaurant. Moaning is usually, there's no good scenario. Either it's a biohazard or somebody's having sex, maybe with themselves. Will you tell the other Brad story since he just stayed with you?
Brad came over and he said he's on this some kind of, I don't know if it's medication or what, but he said his dreams are just wild now. He's like, you wouldn't believe the adventures I'm going on, Randy. Just at the beach or whatever. I'm in a car. I'm flying off a cliff. It's madness. I was like, oh, well, you got to maybe change your medication. He's like, no, I like it. I'm like, really? He's like, you know what helps it along? Cotton candy. But it's only a specific kind of cotton candy. So we had to, after dinner, go to CVS to get this cotton candy. He gets 3 buckets full. They luckily had it. And then he just loads up on cotton candy and goes to sleep and like just has night terrors like all through the night. It's spectacular.
And your kids could hear him just screaming and yelling?
Yeah, it's like fireworks, but it's like 3 a.m. and you don't know when it's going to stop. But the wife wasn't as big a fan. I was entertained, and so were the boys. So there you go.
We should mention Brad's in his mid-50s.
Yes, he is. Yeah, well, early mid-50s. Yeah, we should hope he gets to mid-50s.
Physically, he's in his mid-150s.
Right. I wouldn't count him in any of these futures. That's for sure.
2 quick ones for me. Seahawks playoffs is plus 168. Mm-hmm. And I like it more than their over, because if you're betting their over, 9 wins might make the playoffs in the NFC anyway. And I get a lot more juice on that playoff. So plus 160, I like that. And then I mentioned the Lawrence 4,000 yards bet before. You can just bet that straight up. It's plus 150. And that's just he has to get hurt for him not to hit that. And I don't know why those odds aren't lower. So I got those 2. Back to you in the Fogo draft. Who's tapping out?
All right, not yet. 3 AFC East playoff teams at 6-1. If anybody wants to shut me up about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, it's right there for you because, realistically, 6-1 plus 600. So FanDuel has them right around 10 wins anyway. So we'll check that box. And let me give this. You mentioned
6-1 seems high. Like we did that wins pool draft that we finally brought back, and all 3 of those teams were like in the first 12 picks.
They disappeared. Well, what'd you get for NFC West? What were the odds for those?
Around the same. Yeah, it was plus 550.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I like
but the
both.
NFC is weaker than the AFC.
Right. It's probably a better bet. And you mentioned Trevor Lawrence, 5 or more touchdowns plus 420. He had 5 in 2022. He had 4 last year, and he sat out a game and a half. He averages about 70 carries a year. He takes it at the goal line every now and again. So if you get 5 or more touchdowns adjusted, plus 420 for Trevor Lawrence.
Jesus.
Should be
that seems really high.
Yeah.
Plus 420. Okay. I really like this one. I can't believe it's still on the board. You had him earlier as the under, which I think was a smart bet. Sam Darnold for passing yards.
Yeah.
I present to you the alternate scenario. What if Sam Darnold plays all 17 games? Is there a better bet on most interceptions? Because his odds are 10-1 on FanDuel. And I was looking at it. I was studying the interceptions from the last few years. It's somewhere between like 15 and 19 is the range. But you figure with them, like, they're playing Detroit twice. They're playing Green Bay twice. Like, Chicago's got a good secondary, couple outdoor games. If he play, and him trying to squeeze it into Justin Jefferson, 10-1 seemed pretty tasty. He has the track record too of bad decisions.
I like that. All right. So maybe we bet both. Maybe we bet like,
it's almost like a hedge against your other one, but we're getting massive juice on both.
Yeah, like $1 million on the under passing yards and $300,000 on 10-1 for most interceptions. One of them's got to hit. I like that.
And then we've mentioned him a couple times, but and this is the sucker bet of the year. I know everybody's taking it. I can't believe I can still get it at 10-1, but Jim Harbaugh to be coach of the year is 10-1. All you have to do is read any of the articles anyone is writing about the Chargers the last 2 months and the interviews with the players and how they're just like talking about how the culture's changed. There's accountability now. It's like every code word that I'm all in on in the preseason. So you figure with basically no receivers you would want in a fantasy draft other than Josh Palmer, with Baltimore's cast-off running backs, with Herbert on a bad foot, although it seems like he's okay, and then this defense that they're trying to rejuvenate, and no home field advantage. They're playing the Raiders in week 1 at home, and there's be more Raider fans there.
Right.
And him going 9-8, 10-7. Mike McDonald would be the other one I was worried about, but 10-1, I love those odds. So there you go.
Here's the only thing I thought. These guys are all around the same odds. If Eberflus, Harbaugh, and Raheem Morris all win 10 games, who gets it?
Probably Harbaugh, because they were 5 wins last year, right?
All right. And then the NCAA takes it from him, or he gets to keep it. I'm not sure. All right. Let me give a couple more here.
I thought you would turn the card over at this point.
No, I can't. I mean, I could always keep going. Tyreek Hill plus 750 offensive player of the year. We're always around week 14. If he started, if he's still healthy, like, well, why are Tyreek Hill and McCaffrey not in the conversation for MVP? It's like, well, because, non-quarterbacks don't get MVP. They just don't. So I think if it's Hill or McCaffrey, I know you have Jefferson back this year, but we don't love Sam Darnold, who's throwing him the ball. So I really think it's between those two every year. So give me Hill plus 750.
I like it.
Offensive player of the year.
He just got voted best player in the league by his peers. So
he did, right?
Plus 750 seems fair odds.
I might be out. You're right. I might be out.
You're tapping out.
Wait a minute.
This is great. Yeah.
Oh, crap. Eagles, no playoffs, plus 225.
Oh, you're just scrambling now. Now you're running off to the bathroom with Brad.
You'll lose to Brazil. Yep, in Brazil.
What are the odds on that?
Plus 225.
All right.
Go ahead. You win. I'll tap for now.
I win. I'm so excited. Man, I had a couple more that I really liked.
Go ahead. Well, you go. You could finish.
Well, I'll do 2 more and then I'll do my runners up.
Yeah.
I had Murphy for Defensive Player of the Year rookie at 11-1.
Beast.
The Seattle Beast in the middle. Yeah. I have not read one thing about him that didn't seem like he was going to be awesome. Plus, you know how much I love I felt a 16 and I can remember the 8 guys who got taken in front of me. Like he's one of those guys potentially. Good defense, good coach. So I'm in on him.
Okay.
And then my last one. Oh, this is a fun one. I have some other ones I like, but we can end on this one because you did this version of this. CJ Stroud to win the MVP and Detroit to win the Super Bowl, 110-1.
Yeah.
So the Detroit part, we've already discussed that a million times. CJ Stroud to win MVP, I think they'd have to be a 1 or a 2 seed. They'd have to win 11 or 12 games. I think he would have to throw for over 4,500 yards and have like 33 TDs, 5 picks. There's a case. He was top 5 last year.
Yep.
So I just thought those odds were fantastic. So those
you know what I'm going
to
do? I'm going to do, why don't we do it this way? Because those odds are ridiculous. You get over 100-1 odds on any of these. If we pick 4 teams and 4 players and just match them, I think we're in it. We're in it in the last couple of weeks of the season. For sure.
Yeah, if you like Detroit to win the Super Bowl, you might as well do 4 of the MVP odds with them and try to, because there's only 4 guys who have a chance to win the MVP probably, unless Josh Allen is awesome.
All right.
The ones I left on the table, best record, Detroit was 10-1. Detroit over Houston in the Super Bowl, it has to be exact. That was 90-1. That's my Super Bowl pick. The Detroit and Kansas City to be the 1 seeds, 26-1.
Wow.
Wait, you want to take that one for the last pick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
That's good.
I'm going to give that one to you. 26-1. Who else would you take to be the 1 seed?
In the AFC?
No, just in general. If you were like, hey, you have to bet your life there will be 2 1 seeds. Who are you betting your life on? I would bet on Detroit and KC.
Yeah,
26-1.
That would be it. I mean, I like Buffalo a little more than KC, but I just think they're going to beat them in the playoffs. But
TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, is plus 700 if you're using that Myles Garrett on Cleveland, being on an awesome defense where you're the best guy. Sometimes that propels it up if Pittsburgh's D is really good.
Stay healthy. Yep, obviously.
And then two Niners. If Niners season from hell is in play, Niners under 9.5 wins is plus 260. And you could also go Seattle, Rams, San Francisco, Arizona, 1, 2, 3, 4 exact, 20-1.
Seattle, Rams.
So you're saying San Francisco is going to have a super disappointing year and barely get into the playoffs at 9-8, something like that, and fall behind the Rams and Seattle wins the division 20-1. I thought
that is what I do. I do have them second in that division, but that's not bad. I love them under 11.5 too. So,
well, that was it. The first annual NFL Futures Draft presented by Futures Fusion and Fogo de Chao, who didn't even know they were going to be involved in the podcast.
We went. They had no idea.
What a win for them! They're like, "This is great."
You know what?
The marketing.
They need a win after Brad's visits. So I think
right. We feel like we owed Fogo de Chao after what happened.
We're even now, Fogo.